The coffee from Waffle House in Homo was still burning my throat when the radio in my F-150 crackled to life. Asterisk 10-78, Blackwater Bend. 2 hunters missing since last night. Asterisk no further explanation was needed. Everyone in Terrebonne Parish knew Blackwater Bend was where rumors became reality, and people disappeared. The 95 degrees Fahrenheit heat made my shirt stick to the truck seat as I pulled up to Boudreaux's Fish and Spirits, the last place Travis and Mitch had been seen. The air reeked of spilled beer and old fryer grease. Inside, old man Claude Boudreaux wiped a glass with that look of someone who already knew my questions. They ordered 6 beers and a map of the east side of the swamp, he spat, lighting a Lucky Strike. I told them not to go. Water's been red this week. Red how? I asked, though I already knew. Red like blood, boy. When we found the bodies 3 miles into the swamp, the water really was red, not the usual rusty brown, but a vivid red, like spilled wine. Travis and Mitch floated face down, their boots filled with that cursed water. The worst part? The marks on their ankles. 5 human fingers pressed into the skin like something had dragged them under. My partner Benoit crossed himself. Holy shit. The police radio hissed static. Base to Wyatt, you need to, then it cut out. And behind the buzzing mosquitoes, I swear I heard a whisper from the still water. Come back. The swamp mud clung to my boots like hot glue as we followed the hunter's tracks. My Ford F-150 had gotten stuck about 500 yards back, leaving us with only flashlights as the sun sank behind the cypress trees. The air hung thick with the stench of stagnant water and something else, something sweet and rotten, like old molasses. Jesus, Wyatt. Benoit muttered, his mag light shaking as it illuminated the ground. Look at this. The footprints ended abruptly, like Travis and Mitch had been yanked straight up. But these weren't normal drag marks. The mud swirled around them in spirals, like something had spun them before pulling them down. My hand trembled when I touched one of the marks. It was cold, unnaturally cold for a 95 degrees Fahrenheit day. Then I saw the bottle. A broken Tabasco jar, the glass smeared with red. Not sauce. The metallic smell made that clear. This ain't no gator, I said, mostly to myself. The radio on my belt spat static. Get out, get out. It crackled before cutting off. Benoit and I exchanged a look. He unsnapped his Glock's holster. That ain't the French I learned in school, he muttered. We pushed another 20 yards when the swamp went quiet. Too quiet. No crickets, no birds. Just water gurgling through the roots, like it was breathing. My flashlight caught something glinting in the mud, a silver chain with a St. Jude medal. The radio hissed again, and this time I heard it clearly, 30 feet left. Benoit froze. 30 feet? What the hell? A loud splash cut through the silence behind us. We spun around to see only ripples in the dark water, and something floating on the surface. An old, moldy straw hat. The kind plantation workers wore in the 30s. My watch thermometer read 98 degrees Fahrenheit, but when I opened my mouth, my breath fogged in the air. Madame LeBlanc lived in a plywood shack on the edge of Bayou Lafourche, with beaded curtains and a smell of moldy herbs that clung to your clothes. When we knocked, she was already waiting with 2 glasses of cold tea, like she knew we were coming. Ah, the swamp cops, she said with a toothless smile. Come in before night takes you. The inside was a museum of dead things, dried branches hanging from the ceiling, jars of cloudy liquids, and a yellowed photo of white men in overalls holding ropes, dated 1934. Benoit accidentally touched the frame, and the old woman slammed her cane on the floor. Don't touch that. It's their blood that reddens the water. Between coughs and Creole whispers, she told us about the curse. October 1934, 5 black workers were lynched at Blackwater Bend. When they threw the bodies in the swamp, the water ran red for 7 days. And now? I asked, holding up the St. Jude medal we'd found. Madame LeBlanc opened a trunk and pulled out a cloth bag tied with twine. "Take this, Sheriff. The dead don't like visitors." Inside were chicken bones and a 1921 coin. As we stood to leave, she grabbed my wrist with surprising strength. "They saw you in the mirror, didn't they?" Her watery eyes reflected the candlelight. "They saw you in the mirror." The radio on my belt suddenly blared, *10-78, 10 to 78. All units, before going silent. On the drive back, Benoit didn't speak. He just checked the rearview mirror every 30 seconds, like he expected to see something sitting on the shoulder. The house appeared like a nightmare in the fog, a rotting wooden structure on crooked stilts, half swallowed by the swamp. Benoit's boat motor died 50 feet out, leaving us at the mercy of the current that pushed us right up to the crumbling steps. "God damn it, Wyatt. We shouldn't go in," Benoit whispered, but we were already climbing, each step making the wood groan like a wounded animal. The door was marked with symbols I recognized from parish records, upside-down crosses carved with knives, circles with what looked like dates, *1934, 1951, 1987 star. Years of disappearances. The air inside smelled of mold and raw meat so strong I covered my nose with my sleeve. My flashlight revealed walls covered in dozens of yellowed photos, all of smiling men before they vanished. A table with glass jars full of dark red liquid, each labeled with a name. At the center, a dustless oval mirror in dark wood. Benoit touched a jar labeled Travis, 2023. The glass was hot. "This ain't possible," he choked, backing up so fast he knocked over a chair. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Then I saw movement in the mirror. My reflection lagged. When I turned my head, it followed a second later. Then, it smiled. Not a human smile, but something that stretched to the ears, showing teeth too sharp. "Benoit!" I yelled, drawing my Glock. The floor shook. Something big moved in the flooded basement below us, not the sound of a gator, but of hands pounding on wood, dozens of them. My radio screamed. "All units, 10 to 78. Repeat, 10, *." I fired 3 rounds into the floor. The wood splintered, revealing black water below, and faces floating in it, white eyes locked on us. Benoit dragged me outside as the whole house began collapsing. We barely made it to the boat before the last pillar sank, taking the mirror with it. But in the water's reflection, I swear I saw our faces still inside that house, pounding on the windows. I ran like a madman through the cypress trees, my heart pounding so loud I barely heard Benoit's shouts behind me. My watch read 102 degrees Fahrenheit, but my breath came out in white clouds, freezing in the hot air. Something was wrong. The trees seemed to move, closing paths I'd just passed through. "Wyatt! Stop, goddammit!" Benoit screamed, falling to his knees in the mud. When I turned, I saw them. Pale figures rising from the water, dressed in soaked period clothes, overalls stained red, rotting straw hats. Their faces were incomplete. Like someone had erased mouths and noses with a wet cloth. Only the eyes remained, black as oil pits. The tallest one pointed at me with swollen fingers. "You're the sheriff," whispered a voice that seemed to come from the water at our feet. Just like in 34. Benoit fired 3 shots. The bullets passed through the ghosts like mist, hitting the water behind with dull plunks. Then the swamp breathed. The water rose in a filthy wave, forming giant hands that reached for us. We scrambled onto higher ground, but the earth trembled like jelly. My legs sank knee-deep into something soft. When I pulled free, it was coated in worms thick as fingers, pulsing. "Look!" Benoit pointed at the sky. The stars were gone. In their place floated photos, the same ones from the cursed house, showing each victim smiling before they disappeared. The last one showed Travis and Mitch holding their rifles, red water already rising past their ankles. My radio spat static. "Wyatt, let it happen." Benoit shook me. "That ain't the radio, dumbass. It's them." Something pulled me under. I face-planted into the mud, swallowing foul water as invisible hands dragged me down. I saw flashes of that day in 1934, the screams, the ropes, 5 bodies hitting the water where I now drowned. A flash. I woke up coughing mud in Homa General, the sheriff grinning like I'd just passed out drunk. "Heat stroke, Wyatt. Your thermometer hit 109 degrees Fahrenheit out there."